Thank you very much. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephen Osinski. I know a lot of you guys from my classes. It's kind of surreal for me to be in here because until this, I've been teaching at State for 11 years now, and this is the first semester I've ever not taught Marketing 380. But I think you have a great teacher, probably a lot better than me. And it's kind of surreal because Lance with his company, Mama Chia, Lance and Janie would come to my class and be one of the account companies. And now I guess it's quid pro quo, so I'm coming on in, so thank you for having me. So here's the deal. I never expected to be a real feminist, but I really kind of became that as time went on. A little of my background, before I started at San Diego State, I owned a pretty successful advertising agency. Most of my most of my employees were female. And I didn't like some of the culture that they had to deal with a lot of my male clients. I thought that my clients were kind of rude to them. I also have two daughters of my own, and I've now been teaching, and it hasn't been equal. And I've been very protective, trying to get equality. I'm not going to bore you. I actually teach a course now at San Diego State called Marketing and Sales for Social Impact. And in 2018, the newest numbers that are available, for every dollar that a man makes, women make 80 cents, and that stays with you for your entire career. So Lisa, congratulations on working so hard, but he's going to make 20 cents more on the hour than you're going to make for the rest of your career. Not very encouraging. For every 100 male managers that are out there, there's going to be 62 women that will get to be female managers. And for every 62 female managers, only 10% of them will be women of color, which is defined as either African American, Asian descent, or Hispanic. So it ain't fair. So with the fact as being in my own professional experience, having two daughters of my own, and seeing the injustice in it, we decided to create a program. This is going to be the fourth year of the program. We have a big event planned for February 27th, 2020. That will be the next thing. It's been an annual event. One of the hot buttons that we have is it's very much produced by our students. This was a Marketing 380 class that did it last semester. A little bit of an intro for it. Let's take a look.
When we were younger, we used to pretend to be beautiful princesses in towers, waiting for our prince to come and rescue us. And that sounded nice and all, until we realized being a warrior was way more badass. Warriors are capable of accomplishing anything. They mean business. They work hard. Warriors are highly educated. They're risk takers. They're powerful. They're covered in tattoos. Warriors are inspiring, and they conquer every single mountain. They are leaders who dominate. So Aztecs, are you ready to meet some warriors?
So I closed last year's program, but it was actually March 5th of 2019, so it's really this year. So here's the deal in a nutshell. The program is called Women in Entrepreneurship and Leadership. Its purpose is to encourage entrepreneurship and the pursuit of leadership for our students by giving them real-world examples and first-hand opportunities to engage, network, and be inspired by successful women in the workplace. Okay, so what happened is we created this program, and we liked what we did, and you'll see the history in a moment. And my wife and I created an endowment in conjunction with the Fowler College of Business. We gave a $500,000 endowment, and this will run forever now. And if we play it right, we want to get more and more funding, and really, you'll see our big picture goal in a second. Okay, short-term goal was this: to enable our students to connect with women entrepreneurs and leaders, to inspire our students to be that much more successful in their careers. I don't want to use the word safe, it's too much played down, but the bottom line is this ain't a place for job interviews, but you can certainly meet the CEOs of companies and be in a pretty comfortable environment. And then obviously to network with these entrepreneurs and leaders and hopefully build from there. So that's what we've done in the past. Now the ambitious goal, and this is great, from the president of the university on down, Adela de la Torre, who's the very first female president we've had in our 120 years of history. My personal goal, and the school is backing this up on it, is to position SDSU's Women in Entrepreneurship and Leadership program as the nation's foremost event for helping college-age female students successfully transition into the workplace with the confidence and courage to become tomorrow's business, community, and entrepreneurial leaders. We might as well aim fucking big, right? So that's what we're kind of doing on this whole thing. So let me kind of share with you what happened. Okay? And every year our students are actively involved. You probably know a bunch of these people. They were here last semester. Some of them could still be here. Okay. The history of the program. Ancient history. In 2017, I was a chairperson of the Lab and Entrepreneurship Department and teaching marketing here. I liked what we were doing as this concept, and it wasn't an Osinski-generated program in those days. A lady named Karen Castles-Gray was going to endow the program, and our first speaker was going to be Muhammad Ali's widow, Lani Ali. Pretty prestigious. But again, Lance is an entrepreneur, Aaron's an entrepreneur. Things happen. Her business crashed and she ran out of money. She decided not to show up. Somehow we pulled this event out of the you-know-what, and we had about 250 people show up. So we said, wow, there is a desire at San Diego State for entrepreneurship. Year number 2, I challenged my Marketing 380 class. I said, look, it's a good concept, let's build from that. Bottom line is it worked out pretty effectively. We had about 600 people attend, had 8 local entrepreneurs, wide range of topics. We learned some things from it, it worked out okay, nothing bad. Year number 3, 2019, this past March. From the president on down, the De La Torre kicked it off. We had a session in the morning, Women in Leadership, 2-hour session from 10 to 12. From 2 to 4, Women in Entrepreneurship. We had some pretty notable people. Amy Shelby runs digital media for the CW network. It's a $7 billion network owned by CBS and Warner Brothers. Kim Perrell is the CEO of Amobi, first police chief of a major city in the United States. That was Shelley Zimmerman, and so on and so on. Some very prestigious people. The event worked out well. 800 people showed up this past March. Here's a 1.5-minute sizzle reel of what happened.
I'm here to share with you my story of becoming a successful entrepreneur.
Women who are successful are warriors.
Gender roles are changing, and it is about teamwork. Be authentic, do your best, always go prepared.
The great news about the schools like San Diego State now is there's so many entrepreneurial opportunities to dip your toe in the water.
Dream bigger. If you want to be truly successful, you're going to have to put in some hard time.
Today's Women in Entrepreneurship and Leadership panel was fantastic. I thought that the variety of professions represented were great.
Success is what we're all doing out here, looking at all of you guys,
Handsome
realizing that if we can impact you in any little way, I think we're successful.
Seeing all of those female entrepreneurs on stage really has inspired me that hopefully one day I can be that entrepreneur on stage inspiring other females in the industry.
Today, so many women that were here because they felt comfortable to be here. And that's why it's incredibly important that we continue with this, that we continue to empower women, that they feel confident in whatever avenue, whatever area that they want to continue to pursue.
You have that passion.
How do you balance that determination, that resilience? Listen to yourself. What are your strengths? This is a great time to figure it out. This is a safe environment.
My favorite part of the Women in Entrepreneurship and Leadership event was definitely hearing all the keynote speakers talk about their experiences and all the advice they gave. I feel was really true, and it's just going to help me a lot in my future.
That's the passion that will push you through. That's the passion that fuels you. Long after others would give up, that passion is what is necessary to become a successful entrepreneur.
And even the video here, this is all shot by students. Because again, I'd rather use our people and make it happen. This is your legacy as well as ours. So I'd really rather you guys all be involved. Program worked pretty effectively. We want to build from it. Curse of entrepreneurs is we're never satisfied. So in 2020, what we want to do is build a bigger, better program and be more. We had great sessions of people talking to students. How many of you guys went last year? Couple. Was it a good experience for you?
Yeah, I loved it.
Well, that's great. Can you elaborate a little more than that? What's your name, sir?
Matthew.
Thank you, Matthew.
Matthew, growing up in a strong female environment, I thought it was great that at an academic level it was something that was so encouraging to see, and everyone, the range of people who were there and also speakers, were just a really great light into a new world.
Well, thank you so much. I hope you sign up for one of our teams. Let's see what happens. And who else was there? You and what is your name again?
Samantha.
Oh, that's right, Samantha. I'm sorry. You work with Emma.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your experience last year with it?
Well, I went to the leadership panel and I spoke with Amy Shelby, the director.
The CW lady.
CW, yeah. And I spoke with her and it was really enlightening and it was great. I loved it.
Well, great. You see, it's important if I tell you one thing that's good, but when your peers, your fellow students tell you, it's definitely more significant. So here's the deal. We're going to do it. We have a date. We have Montezuma Hall booked. The university, Heather Honay, who's actually Lance and my boss, she's the chairperson of the marketing department. Because of the success of the program and the commitment we got from the high ups up, by the way, success of a program is very subjective. As an entrepreneur, I'm totally neurotic. I feel like a football coach until the actual event occurs, and I'm terrified the whole time, but that's what kind of drives something along. I don't want you guys to be terrified. But what Heather approached me on is just, let's build a course so we can institutionalize this program. We can make it better, and then when you guys all graduate, the next set of students can take it over, because I'm not gonna be here forever, he won't be here forever, Heather won't be here forever, and we gotta just institutionalize it. So I created a course, we're doing it right now. We had a brainstorming session with Hema, who's the Director of Marketing of the College of Business, a woman named Janie Jennings, who's the Director of Event Planning for the College of Business, and Siona San, who's the development lady. That means they're the ones that go pitch people for money. They met with my students last week, and we talked about restructuring the program for 2020 to be a little bit more engaging for students. The way it's gonna work right now, first class from 10 to 11, we have Montezuma Hall, as I mentioned, for the whole day. Implicit bias and how it impacts men and women differently. It's amazing, but instinctive things that I do and that you do are so vitally different. And that's part of the 80 cent versus a 20 cent, 80 cent versus $1 thing. But we're gonna have to learn it and how to get around it. So we have that in the beginning. We already have a lot of people committed to the event, and I'll give you some names in a moment. Then we wanna have, what came up is, it's great to have your 40-somethings and your 50-something rock stars, but we also want to have younger people so you can tell us what it's like 5 years out of college, 7 years out of college, what going along the path. So we're going to have young leaders. They will be people, we already have a commitment from Google, one of the people. We're making some good progress on this thing. We want to expose you to an array of companies. Then we're going to have breakout sessions from about 12 to 2, half-hour sessions. Hall of Fame will be past speakers. A session led by HR persons on building your brand, career development, blah, blah. One class, which is great, how to be an entrepreneur, and then dealing with failure, because you don't win them all the time. Where's Jeff? There you are, yeah, I mean, welcome to the club. We win some, we lose some. One of our students will be, one of our teachers will be Jennifer Crittenden, who wrote a very successful book called What's a Guy to Do? How do we talk to women in the post hashtag MeToo movement? Women in STEM. One of our speakers will be a woman named Physics Girl. Anybody know who Physics Girl is? Physics Girl has 1.5 million followers on YouTube and even more on Instagram. And she's an articulate 29-year-old woman who basically teaches physics in the most quirky, I don't even know what physics are, but she makes it entertaining and has built an entrepreneurial business on it, and it's phenomenal. And let her give us some of the entrepreneurial tips and so on and so on. Fiscal goal setting, Fidelity, which is one of the largest investment houses in the world, is committed to getting more women involved. What do we do when we go out of college? I have a $25,000 debt load. How do I start planning for this? It's great for guys as well. Challenging the nonprofit path. Not everybody wants to make a lot of money and be a capitalist pig. And finally, challenges for women and people of color in the workforce. These are the mini sessions we have. In the afternoon, believe me, I'm aiming big. I have no commitment on this one. We're trying to get Melinda Gates, who just committed $1 billion to gender equality in America. No pain, no gain, and we don't know if anybody here has a relative. I'd be thrilled. But we have some contacts into it. But we also have people already committed. Lisa Graham, who's in charge of, she's a senior director at Adobe, but she has already committed. And not only that, and Lisa, thank you for opening that door, she's also in charge of Adobe's Women Leadership Program. We have Erin Taylor lined up from a tiny company called PepsiCo. She's in charge of their women's program as well as half the beverages in the United States. And we have a lot of people lined up already, but I need more help. Then we'll have the keynote of the speakers, post-party, hopefully with alcohol, if we can get around that one. And we're working on it. What I need you guys to do is, again, we visualize this as a career fair trade show that's relevant. This is all going to be posted by Professor Hoffman. I like the way that sounds. When you and I were drinking alcohol in Kabul, pal, I never knew you as Professor Hoffman. Long story, class. But success equals making the program useful, informative, memorable, and fun for our students. And that's what we're going to try to do. We also want you guys to figure out these questions. You guys can read yourselves, and it will all be posted. How do we generate awareness, blah, 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 and blah, blah. So your challenge here, and the nice thing about this is it's real money. We have an endowment, and we actually have more money than even just the endowment. Let's play with this to start. We have people on the outside working to get the outside community more involved. But my question for you guys is really, how do we market this event on San Diego State property to our on-campus community? You got $5,000. We have people at Hema, who's Samantha's boss, and Janie, who works with her. They are responsible for our social media, so we can't really violate the rules that they tell us, but you guys can figure this out and make the whole thing happen. So in a nutshell, we have a program that seems pretty good, and thank you very much for your kind words about it, and you too as well. I'm glad it was good. you have my permission to be a total whack job, that we want it to be fun and exciting for everybody and engaging, but we don't know what we're doing. I mean, I'm willing to change everything. I think the layout I shared with you is pretty much what we're visualizing for 2020, but even in the process of your due diligence, if you hate it, beat it up for us. So that's all I wanted to say. Any questions or thoughts? Not all at once. Okay.
Everybody gets shy when he's here. Come on. No one has any questions?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can. I mean, Lisa, come on. Yes, thank you. Let me put you first. Hold on. Lisa, thank you. And here you go.
No, have you started like allocating where your budget's going to yet, or are you just like waiting?
Well, we know that one thing that was effective, and you guys probably got it last year, our swag. We set 3 of the people that will be involved are authors. Probably get you some ebooks or maybe some actual hard copy books. Women in Leadership, or the one I talked about, how to talk to women. We also had a lot of swag, but 5,000 is reasonable. We know we want to feed our audience because people do a lot better when they're well fed. But again, it's not really anything too frightening. There's a lot of companies that are kind of joying to get involved with this whole activity. So we allocate it however you guys want to allocate it. Yeah.
Is the food included in that budget?
On that budget, no.
Oh, okay, good.
No. This is for basically media, primarily social media, maybe posters, maybe giant balloons and banners, whatever you guys want. Yes, sir.
How many of the speakers are already lined up to know like who will be attending?
How many students or
No,
speakers?
speakers.
Speakers, we have a lot of people who have committed to it. I get apprehensive when today is October 10th and the event is on February 27th. But we have about 10 or 15 people already kind of committed, some more intensely than others. The Adobe lady, the PepsiCo lady, these are really critical players because they're major corporations. I've kind of locked them in hardcore. But for example, in my class that was built around this course, they're working on reaching out to some influencers right now and some other people that may be relevant. So again, we don't usually have trouble getting people. We've never paid anybody to come on in, and I'd prefer not to because it's not like any of us are making any money on the deal. But at the same time, as time goes on, you know, we're working the channels right now. It's an open-ended answer, I apologize. Yeah?
Regarding the structure, how flexible is that for us to move around with?
We're open to all challenges, but I do know that we probably want to have some kind of larger conglomeration in the beginning, larger conglomeration at the end, but at the same time, give me some better ideas and we'll certainly look at them. Okay? Yeah?
What marketing are you currently doing?
Excuse me?
What marketing are you currently doing?
Absolutely zero.
Okay.
And that's what I want to get this started. But if you would all write this down, please. I guess I could post it later, but write this down. Business.scsu, you know damn well, don't you? .edu/WIEL, Women in Entrepreneurship and Leadership. So business.scsu.edu/ that's the Fowler College of Business homepage for our event. It will be modified. I know that they modified it yesterday with that video I shared with you that's on it, and a couple other items, but that's all part of what we're trying to figure out the best storyline. Yeah?
Can you repeat the /what?
WIEL. Because whoever came up with the name Women in Entrepreneurship and Leadership was fucking crazy. Okay. Yes. That's it. Any other questions? Yeah. Oh, hey, you're Brittany, right?
Yes.
Good to see. We're like old buddies already.
Yeah. So when is this all going to be finalized? Because I know we're going to be like meeting the women business.
Well, I mean, we're doing it right now. I have, although they're not all locked in, among the players that I've been talking to, so we're in progress, are Intuit, which is very big on STEM, trying to get people there, some fairly senior people there. A tiny company called Amazon is involved in this whole thing. Primarily, they're Amazon Web Services, which is active. Some of you might know Sean Lewis down here. Anybody know Sean? Okay. Anyhow, to make a long story short, this is luckily, it's kind of like puppies. This is something that everybody likes and everybody is interested in right now. So my goal is to give our students the best opportunity with a wide range of companies to pick and choose from. So believe it or not, we're business people here, but we want to open this to the campus. And as a result of that, areas that we don't even focus in.
I can talk to you after too, because I have a few connections that I think.
Well, I'd be all ears, and and in fact, Brittany is a member of a group called Women in Business, and they're very actively involved in supporting us on this whole thing. We're thrilled about that, as is the Entrepreneur Society. So it's wonderful. Any other questions? Professor Hoffman, thank you for having me in your class.